panel, and our colleagues in Georgia are obviously, as they await to go on air, getting ready to do so. We know that we are watching Georgia play England this afternoon, England's third World Cup qualifier. Tony Adams skippers the side for the 11th occasion in the absence of Alan Shearer. We know that Paul Gascoigne plays. Because Glenn Hoddle was such a wonderful player, Joe, because in a way you got the impression that he couldn't tackle a dinner, and he's such a nice guy, you tend to forget that there is a steely side to him, and he's displayed that since becoming England coach, hasn't he?
I would question him tackling the dinner, actually. I remember him topping me once. But,
Do you? Well, I'm encouraged to hear that, actually.
Yeah. Was that in the tunnel, Joe?
No, Glenn was a top-class player, make no mistake about it. And a problem a lot of managers have when they become managers, if they've been top-class players, is recognising that other players can't do what they could do. And Glenn has very quickly realised there's no Glenn Hoddles about. And this side represents a very, very solid side.
And England take to the field in the Boris Beshadze Stadium. As you would expect, no shirt for Paul Ince just yet. There will be by the time he emerges into a very intimidating atmosphere. 75,000 expected. England are in town. That's always a draw. But the game stands on its own. It's a World Cup qualifier, only the second that the Georgians have played. They lost the first in Italy, 1-0. This on their own territory is a very different proposition for England this afternoon. The toughest test yet for Glenn Hoddle in England. He's picked a side for it. No Alan Shearer, of course. Les Ferdinand and Teddy Sheringham will play up front. It's Batty and Ince about Gascoigne. David Beckham is in the starting lineup. Adams, Sol Campbell and Southgate at the back. And of course David Seaman in goal. Very shortly now we'll be joining our match commentators. But first up, as usual on these occasions, we'll be pausing for the national anthems. Caught our first glimpse of Kinkladze there, around whom so much has been said, so much has been built by the Georgians. Trevor Francis has heard he's perhaps the worst of the three tricky midfield players that they will go into this game with. We're about to find out. It's quite an occasion, isn't it? And I sense signs of nerves there. But not from David Beckham. He's a cool customer. So too Les Ferdinand. Sol Campbell makes his first start in an England jersey. Gascoigne is in. What a massive vote of confidence from Glenn Hoddle for Paul Gascoigne these past few days. Andy Hinchcliffe, capped by Glenn Hoddle for the first time in Moldova. Played against the Poles. This is his third. Pre-match entertainment's good, isn't it? And on it goes. The average wage in this country, £150 a year. This is big time. It was always the case, Trevor, when you pulled on the white shirt, wasn't it? That wherever you were in the world, people wanted to turn out to see England.
It was always a little nerve-wracking affair too, because, you know, there's no such things as friendlies. Obviously this is a big World Cup game, but every game, I'm sure Joe will back me up, saying that every game was always important. Didn't matter what the occasion was, wherever it was. You know, I played over in Australia on 2 or 3 occasions for England, but it's always a big occasion. Everyone wanted to come along, watch England, always a full house there, and the pressure was always on the England team to perform and to win the game. We're always expected to win.
I think they've lost the tapes, haven't they? That must have happened. And I'm not quite sure what we're listening to at the moment, Joe. England, of course, in that change strip this afternoon. Still an unfamiliar strip. I'm not sure that we'll ever get used to it. The referee's had a couple of mentions already. Maybe we're waiting for the Georgians to go on air, Joe. You never quite know on these occasions.
He's thinking about it. He's looking at his watch now.
He's thinking about his tea, isn't he? We're off. I think it's fair to say we've had an eventful start to what should be a cracking afternoon. Let's go to Georgia and join our match commentators, the former England skipper Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
Yes, Richard, the extended play versions of the pre-match music. Georgia rightly has a reputation for wonderful hospitality. England have had a tremendous welcome here, but now that hospitality stops. Independence has brought its problems for a proud people, the Georgians, but it has been an inspiration to them as well. And that is certainly reflected in the passion of their footballers. Kinkladze, you all know, the captain, Skardadze, is scheduled to sign for Manchester City next week. And virtually all the Georgian players have come through the ranks of the home club here, Dynamo Tbilisi, whose record for uncovering young talent stands comparison with the great Ajax. And a real incentive for Georgia today. The scorer of their first goal will earn the bonus for the scorer of a Mercedes car. You've heard about the England changes. A couple of centre-backs altered, Gary Neville and Stuart Pearce out. Tony Adams back as captain. David Seaman fit again after that thigh scare earlier in the week. Sol Campbell in the starting lineup for the first time. It's David Batty for Steve McManaman. That's certainly a switch of emphasis in midfield. Teddy Sheringham for Alan Shearer further forward. Sheringham and Gascoigne to support Les Ferdinand as the one really out-and-out player up front. The 100th World Cup tie then for England. Georgia's very first at home, coming after a fighting display in Italy last month, and that 1-0 defeat, Ray, was an honourable one.
Yes, it certainly was, Martin, and they were a little bit unfortunate they didn't get a result out of that, especially in the last 20 minutes. And I think this is going to be a very stern test for this English side. I think it's a very well-balanced side, and right through the middle of the side we've got experienced players, Adams, Batty, they're all in there, and it's going to be a great afternoon.
All the officials come from Portugal. It's Georgia in the white shirts. A match that really only goes ahead with the help of the Georgian government. The president, Edward Shevardnadze, supporting the cost of extra security measures, upgrading the communication systems, improving the floodlighting if we need it later on, and even encouraging the fans to come and support the team at some expense. Kinkladze is very much their favourite. Here's Skardadze. So England have had what is regarded generally as an extra day of preparation, coming out here on Wednesday to adjust the body clocks to the 5-hour time difference. We're just past 5 o'clock in the afternoon local time, and as the temperature drops weather-wise, the atmosphere in the stadium really hotting up. Gascoigne was a little short, Chiamorali nipped in. Ince and Gascoigne going for the same ball. England need to settle quickly, won't be easy.
Yes, I think you can already see, Martin, that the Georgians are very, very comfortable in possession of the ball, and it's pretty evident as well, once England win possession of the ball, they're going to play a pressing game and put England under a lot of pressure and try and whip this crowd up into a bit of a frenzy.
It isn't entirely a full house because of those admission prices, which have tested the financial resources of the average Georgian. But those who are here are regarding this as a piece of history. England, all over the world, seen as the mother of footballing nations. Sheringham, Gascoigne is up there, and Sheringham almost given a chance there to give England a great start as he combined with Gascoigne.
You're quite right, Martin. What a start that would have been. It was a wonderful pass through from David Beckham that picked out Teddy as he belted through the middle of the field. And it was a bit of a shame that Paul couldn't get a bit of firmer contact on the ball, and I think would have been in business.
So here's Gareth Southgate, who didn't finish the last England game against Poland because of an ankle injury. It was an excellent result, as it was in Moldova, but in terms of actual performance of the team, certain causes for concern, which Glenn Hoddle really has put down as far as the Wembley match is concerned, as the players thinking too much about attacking and not really responding to their instructions when the opposition had the ball.
I think you can see straight away, Martin, that the thinking behind Glenn's selection when you've got Batty, Gascoigne and Paul Ince, they're playing very close together to prevent anything going right through the middle of the field. It's vitally important as well for the guys, once we do lose possession of the ball, that we're aware of where Kincladze will be. He's a very talented lad. We see him coming now to pick a ball up in anywhere. Any sort of space that he can get, he'll pick the ball up and cause damage.
And another player to look out for is the number 9, Keps Bayer, who operates in Greek football. And is given that free role just behind one main striker, and has a very good goals per game record at international level. So it's Southgate with the free kick. Really England's most testing away match for more than 3 years, since that World Cup qualifier back in Rotterdam. Well, Zoidze, I don't think appreciated the back pass. The kick went straight to Everton's Andy Hinchcliffe. Ferdinand trying to impose his power and presence on the game straight away. Lobjanidze coming across just to see it off and getting a buffeting from Ferdinand for his trouble.
Yeah, I think Les gave him a little shove, and quite rightly so, just to let him know what he's about.
Southgate's header. So Paul Gascoigne, who not just fighting the opposition today, but also some sections of public opinion back home, of course. But he's been given the support of the England head coach and his teammates significantly as well. Some progress for Beckham, and Skardadze, well, it sliced off an attempted clearance, and the referee having no problems with allowing the goalkeeper to catch that.
No, certainly not, Martin, but it's tremendous play from young David Beckham again. He's really has grown in confidence every game you see him play, and I think he's going to be a firm fixture in this side for a long time to come.
Kobiashvili through to Jamarauli, who didn't play against Italy. He was injured. They've made a couple of changes in their side from that game. David Batty starting an international for England for the first time since the home defeat by Brazil in the Umbro Cup last year.
I think he warrants his chance as well, Martin. I think David this season has been one of the most consistent players in the Premier League. His performance has been quite exceptional.
And here's the man voted the most consistent England player by a panel of football writers over this calendar year, David Seaman. Absolutely thrilled with the honour of the Green Flag Award. And here's Hinchcliffe. Well forward down the left-hand side, as the England system allows him to do, but he can chase back here, and he gets back quickly.
That's wonderful play from Andy there. That's really working very hard for the side.
And Southgate was caught, kept fire to Arveladze. And every little flurry from Georgia is going to be greeted here with a deafening response from the crowd. England's mistake, Arveladze's shot.
Yes, that's right. We see him coming on his left foot, and his way is very high and wide. But Andy Hinchcliffe there did exceptionally well. He got forward, got in the box, nearly created a chance, ran fully 50 yards to win it back, and we just had a little bit of a mix-up, and they managed to break through and have a shot. But nothing to get worried about.
Sheringham just trying to really clear a passage for the ball to get up to Ferdinand. Beckham, who's begun well. He finished the game against Poland in splendid form the last half an hour, when there was a lot of work to be done on his side of the pitch in that wing-back role.
Yes, it has to be said, Martin, that wing-back role for a naturally forward-minded player is quite a difficult one.
Here's Sheringham. Thrilled to be back today after missing out in Moldova through a thigh injury, and then not really being fully match fit to be considered for the Poland game. Oh, it's Adams pressing on well up the pitch. Ince. Gogichashvili on the ball. This is Ketsbaya.
That's the advantage of having a David Batty playing though, Martin. Tony's raiding forward there. David just went back, he sat in the hole there, and we were quite comfortable defensively. That's important that David does that all afternoon.
This is Jamarauli. Number 7 is Nemsadze. Shelia trying to really bomb it out to the Georgian right. Mavaladze doing the blocking. One of three brothers rather, who've represented Georgia in the short time they've been an independent country. It's amazing that this fixture has fallen on the Saturday at the end of what's been called British Week here. It is all to do with trade and improving relations. The Royal Navy are present, and businessmen from all parts of the country. Gogichashvili. Mavaladze couldn't get away, Batty in quickly again.
It's an extremely valid point that Trevor was making before the game, Martin, about the free kicks. We do have in Andy Hinchcliffe, David Beckham, two of the most wonderful deliverers of a ball from free kicks, and if we can get in areas that are advantageous to us, we do have a lot of height and power as well, so a good ball in could create anything.
And Italy's winning goal against Georgia last month from a header.
Yes, very much
from
so.
Ravanelli.
Very much so. A good old English centre forward. He's an important player for us today, Big Les. If they're going to have a lot of possession of the ball, it's vitally important that once the ball is played forward from our point of view, that Les gets hold of it and can bring other people into the game. I think him and Teddy have an immense responsibility in that.
Yes, it's noticeable straight away that when Georgia have the ball, Gascoigne gets back to be one of the midfield quintet, if you like. At the moment England are in possession, he's got plenty of licence to push on and allowed to do that by the presence of both Batty and Ince. Batty's on the ball.
Good referee, Martin.
Actually, the officials had a pretty tricky journey. They had to change their plans to get here to Georgia from Portugal. Happily, Ray Wilkins, travelling yesterday, made it in good time and played in the press game this morning. It's finished 1-1.
Good result for us. A tough old game.
Gogichashvili making some progress for Georgia. Just 19 years old, only his third international. And it's a corner for the home side. Ferdinand coming back to try and play his part in his own penalty area. Skardadze! Well, it's the captain who's scheduled to join Manchester City, who has scored against England in the past for the old CIS back in 1992 in a warm-up game for Euro 92.
It's a tremendous delivery from Kinkladze, and Skardadze just gets the run on Sol Campbell and can't direct his header downwards. Here we see it once again. He just got a little run on Sol, and the ball's over the top of the crossbar.
Gogichashvili. Tony Adams with that patch over a cut sustained playing against Wimbledon. Plenty of players forward for Georgia here. Jamarauli, a slip by Campbell. Actually, Jamarauli was concentrating all the time and crossing when given the loss of footing by Sol Campbell. He might have just been able to go on and perhaps go for goal himself. Easy to say. Here's Ketsbaya against Southgate. Turning Southgate. Good play. And David Seaman, a reassuring presence there to deal with the cross shot.
He did ever so well, David, there. That's good handling. Ketsbaya does exceptionally well to turn Gareth. Drills it across, and there's those safe hands of Big Dave. The coach has just jumped out of the bench there, Martin, and he's waving his lads forward to press England. It's quite apparent that when they're in possession of the ball, they push three players forward straight away to occupy all of our defenders.
Well, I think Glenn Hoddle and his coaching staff, Ray, were a bit concerned, of course, Georgia haven't played a home game since October last year to look at what sort of philosophy they might come up with on their own ground.
Yes, quite, because when you do come to these places, they are a different animal, Martin, and possibly at Wembley they feel a little bit inferior, but certainly on their own soil, they get a tremendous amount of confidence.
Southgate going in, and then have a piece of play from Teddy Sheringham for England. Gascoigne. Ferdinand in there first, to his own advantage. He's got Sheringham to the left, Gascoigne going through the centre, and now waiting by the far post. Sheringham's cross leads to an England corner.
Yeah, that was good build-up play, Martin. It was a nice little ball in from Paul, which teased the defender, and it teased Les onto the ball. He managed to get round, and a little ball to Teddy, but unfortunately the ball couldn't get into the danger zone.
Well, Hinchcliffe leaving this one for Gascoigne. Gascoigne gives the signal. Ferdinand coming from deep. Sol Campbell well forward as well. The goalkeeper Fiss not very well, but although it was hard to hear it, the players have heard it. The whistle's gone.
I think the referee's given him a little bit of benefit of the doubt there, Martin. That looks as if it was hanging there. The goalkeeper had an opportunity to get it. Always difficult to call. You know, David Beckham's going in on the goalkeeper, and he's not actually looking at the keeper. He's just going for the ball, and unfortunately for us, the referee's given a free kick.
Gascoigne. Ferdinand.
Oh,
Well, this is Sheringham. England have scored!
that's fantastic, Martin. What a beautiful dummy from Teddy Sheringham.
Sheringham brought back in the side.
Oh, we missed the best part. It was a beautiful dummy. He gets a little bit of luck there off the defender, and it flips over the top of the goalkeeper. But it was a beautiful piece of work from Teddy Sheringham. It has been apparent, in actual fact, as the game's only, what, 10, 15 minutes old, that, OK, they're very good in possession of the ball, but once we do get at their back three, we've got every chance of scoring a goal.
And there was the sleight of foot from Sheringham. Here's the deflection that gave Zoidze no chance. It came off the captain, Skardadze. But Sheringham's goal, England's lead, and one of the real stars of Euro 96, who's just had to sit on the sidelines over the commencement of this World Cup campaign, and has been very frustrated by that. Well, he's back, and it's Georgia 0, England 1.
But that's what international football's all about, Martin. It's waiting for your chance and taking it when it arrives.
And here's Qualifier, who's already given England a problem or two. If he came flying in, I think the referee played the advantage then. The free kick would have been given against the Newcastle man, as we can enjoy once more the sweet moment of England scoring the first goal of this potentially difficult World Cup qualifier here, a long, long way from home. Adams. Got the concentration showing him on the ball, then it was just a simple layoff in theory, but mindful of this pitch, which probably looks a bit better than it actually is. The grass has been cut very short, so there's nothing to cushion the bobbles.
It's amazing, Martin, how quiet it's gone. You know,
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we can have a nice afternoon now, hopefully.
So it's a free kick play between Gascoigne and Batty. Qualifier, Southgate at his back. Here's Ince. Just a little touch away from him by Kinkladze. And another clever ball from the Manchester City man. Was so crucial for the Georgian hopes. In the end, Ince sent a message out, first of all, with just the way he knocked it forward to say, let's get it out of this midfield area, even if it's a bit crude. And then he certainly spread a word or two amongst his colleagues in that department about England being a little, maybe overcomplicated. Campbell, who's been in terrific form recently for certainly a Tottenham feel one way or another about England here today. I think of Gascoigne once being on the books at White Hart Lane, Glenn Hoddle, Ray Clements, John Gorman. And looking at Mr. Sheringham, the scorer. Hinchcliffe. Sheringham again. Hinchcliffe. Batty. That's England's ball. And suddenly life looking a bit complicated for Georgia and their captain in particular. Batty. Now Hinchcliffe. Gascoigne, Hinchcliffe setting off. David Beckham had actually turned his back then, but the referee spotted Lobjanidze.
I think he's given it for a deliberate handball, Martin. Paul was trying to play a little cheeky pass around the outside to David Beckham. And he just sort of dropped his shoulder on it.
It was a very good spot by the referee and by Ray Wilkins. And a yellow card given, and a free kick to England.
He started very well, the referee, Martin. Having a good game.
Hinchcliffe takes it. And there's good movement from England in the middle, with Sheringham trying to just duck out and come late on the scene beyond the far post.
It was fantastic movement from England, but what a delivery as well, Martin. That was stuck right in. That was in a position where 2 or 3 could have actually got a touch on it. Good ball.
And now Hinchcliffe's got a chance to do something similar from an England corner. Oh, and the goalkeeper, as goalkeepers in the Premiership have found, that Andy Hinchcliffe put such extravagant bend on the ball. Too much for Ferdinand that time. But it certainly had Zoidze flapping at thin air.
I think you could see by the look on Les's face. Les has actually lost his marker, Shalia, when the ball was coming across, and he thought that he might have got a little touch on it, but he was a little bit unfortunate. He didn't have the pace. If Les hadn't got the pace, then none of us have got a chance.
Adams. Kinkladze having to chase his own header and seen off by Hinchcliffe. England in this kit officially of indigo blue that was last in evidence in the semi-final of Euro 96. There is a change scheduled for the middle of next year to shirts of red for the kit that's required when there's a flash of white. Arveladze for Kinkladze, past Campbell. Kobiashvili supporting to the left, Kinkladze ignoring him first time. And second time, Ketsvaya. Well, he lost 2 with the turn. Batty and Gascoigne. Nemsadze. And David Batty got back. And England were able to get the ball back well away from the edge of the penalty area. With Shalia.
Yeah, that was the first one, Martin, wasn't it, with David
Batty.
And I think Paul got on the ball and decided to show them a little bit of his ability as well, with a little nutmeg in the middle of the field.
Ferdinand. This has been an encouraging beginning from England, but there's still a lot more application required. Georgia 0, England 1.
He seems a very aggressive defender, Lobjanidze, the guy picking Les up.
Well, he's exactly that. I watched him train a couple of days ago, and he was digging into his own teammates in the session. He's already got a yellow card. And Kobiashvili going on, brushing Beckham aside, who had a look at the assistant referee on that far side for some sympathy, which he didn't get, and in the end, Georgia didn't carry on passing the ball quite as well as their supporters here hoped.
Yeah, I felt David was a bit hard done by, in actual fact. He worked very hard to win the ball back, and he appeared to be tripped from behind.
So here's Adams. And again, Shelia staying with Ferdinand. Kobiashvili can only present it to Beckham. Sheringham is furthest forward for England at the moment. Ferdinand coming for the ball to feet from Batty, breaks down. Ketsbayer, who's been saying he has had approaches from English clubs, but hasn't wanted to name them. He hasn't done any harm at all in advertising his own personal cause, and Georgia have been able to get the ball to him. Kinkladze. Now Shamarali. Nemsadze. Shamarali. And Arveladze hoping that the ball could have just been threaded back to him. They love to angle those little give and goes on the edge of the opposing penalty area.
Yeah, Andy Hinchcliffe just giving a little wave there to Dave Seaman and apologising for giving him a bit of a dodgy ball. On a pitch like this, Andy would have been better with the left foot that he's got, just to turn round and play it down the line into safety.
Here's Gascoigne in crisply for England. Sheringham for Ferdinand. Beckham moving on Ferdinand's blind side, but he's now gone across the pitch to be available should Gascoigne want to use him, which he does. Arveladze had one decent strike at the England goal, but so far the strategy selected by Glenn Hoddle today, standing up for the test here in Tbilisi. Kinkladze trying to undermine it, but Batty stuck out a foot to England's profit. Skardadze just had to wait there because there was no one through the centre for Georgia to try and find with a forward ball. They do like to meander at times through midfield. Shelia trying that ball from left to the right again, and Shamarali able to receive it this time. Once more, David Batty got in and did what he does best.
Yes, he does. He sits in front of that back paw and he anticipates very well. He's not going to the ground anymore, David. And at international football, if you go to the ground, then teams will just walk past you. He's standing up, he's making people beat him, and more often than not, he's actually winning the ball by good anticipation.
Kinkladze. Ketsbayer. Inch the first to confront him. Knocked back by Arveladze to Nemsadze. Ketsbayer. It was vital for England that Campbell wasn't passed in that position. And England have given away a free kick. Adams seeking clarification. And Kinkladze is going across to get involved. He won't be surprised at that. There's already been one decent header from Skardadze, who's trying to get free in the centre. It came off the head of Southgate for England. And a mistake by Lovshanidze, and he was very lucky to get away with it. Just stuck a second time as Sheringham was on him in a flash. Kobiashvili. Kinkladze. Gascoigne's tackle this time on Shamarali.
Yeah, that's good defending from our lads. They're very compact at the moment in the middle of the field. soon as they attempt to go past one of our lads, the next one's right in on top of it.
It's too straight from Georgia's point of view. Hardly anything has changed in the architecture of the stadium since England were here in 1986 playing the old Soviet Union. But then the stadium was known as the Central Lenin ground, so politically you can tell that quite a lot has changed. No longer that, named in fact after a famous Georgian footballer, Boris Paishadze. A number of English clubs have played here, not with a great deal of success. They were showing on television last night, Liverpool losing 3-0 and going out of Europe. And a number of those Tbilisi players are working with the Georgian national team as coaches these days. And the ball given out of play on the far side. Kobiashvili, a disappointed Georgian. The assistant referee was actually looking from the back view of the Georgian player. But he flagged for what he saw.
Spot of confusion, Martin. I think David Beckham must have got a little toe on the ball to send it out.
Jamarali. Sheringham, England snapping in again. Gascoigne. Just whipped into space there by Sheringham, and Ferdinand reacted very smartly. Kogichaishvili. Pounded by Batty. That will gladden Glenn Hoddle's heart again.
He was very unlucky in the first place, Martin. Once again, he had read the situation very well. His first touch wasn't quite good enough. Ball got away from him, but David's persistence in wanting to get the ball back, he won it back for England, and now we have good possession again.
With Southgate. Trying to get it up to the front men. Both of whom were covered on that occasion. Ince, now Beckham. He's not frightened of shooting from that sort of range. In fact, he's Manchester United's top scorer currently. And he is settling so quickly into international football.
Showing marvellous composure. Look at the movement he got on that ball.
Were you that visibly confident in your third international, Ray? Or?
I think that would be for others to say, Martin, whether I was that confident, but I've not seen a young man playing this sort of company with so much confidence for a long, long time.
And here's someone else who doesn't lack confidence. Georgi Kinkladze. Nemsadze. Put forward by Avaladze. Nemsadze going in again. And the challenge was a little on the high side. It's a free kick to Georgia. They don't play again in this World Cup group until they come to Wembley in April. Kinkladze. Didn't quite come back to him from Avaladze. Kogichaishvili with the cross. Beckham puts it behind. Corner to Georgia.
He's a very clever player, isn't he, Kinkladze? We've seen him grace all our grounds in the last couple of seasons, and he really does have a talent. He played a wonderful 1-2 there, threading the ball through the eye of a needle and actually getting the return as well.
I did ask him about an hour before the kickoff whether he knew about the Steve Coppell situation at Manchester City, and the message has reached Tbilisi and Kinkladze. This is Jamarali. And need to do a lot better than that.
Yeah, from that situation, we're a bit slow getting out, actually, Martin. The ball's been played back. I thought Paul Ince might have shut him down a little bit quicker, but we allowed him to get his shot in.
Just an opportunity, a pause in the action to remind you of the Judgment Night boxing tonight. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, one of 3 world heavyweight title fights. Sky Box Office. For details, phone 0990 800 888. Whistle's gone, and a shove suspected from Sheringham.
I think that shoulder to shoulder there, Martin, I've got to say, I thought that was a little bit unfortunate on Teddy's behalf.
England leading through Sheringham's goal, and if there is a worry for Glenn Hoddle at the moment, is just the number of free kicks within the range of 30-40 yards of goal that England are conceding is beginning to tally up. Kinkladze, Ketsbaia, but he only gets it upfield, straight to Skardadze. Gascoigne first to try and defend for England. Kinkladze. Support from Arveladze. Ferdinand trying to dig in as well. Lobjanidze. And Gogichaishvili needed the ball to come a little bit earlier to stay onside from Jamarali.
I won't even attempt to pronounce that name, Martin, but it was a hell of a run, and had that ball been played just a touch earlier, we could have been in deep trouble.
Well, he's a very athletic player on the right-hand side for Georgia. Of the up and back on a consistent basis variety. Beckham doing likewise for England and doing extra things as well. And here he is turning beautifully. Now Sheringham and Ferdinand in the middle. It's knocked away by Gogichaishvili from Sheringham's head. Here he is again. We just praised his industry, and he was in the right place defensively, well into his own penalty area. And it's Adams. Southgate. Well, the crowd complaining, but David Seaman taking as much time as he wants, and the referee in no position there to penalise him for it. It was up to the Georgians to come out and make a challenge.
Yeah, quite true, Martin. That's half the battle when you come to these places. Silence that crowd, and then you've got half a chance, and our lads are doing an exceptional job at the moment.
Skardadze again confident with that first touch on the ball that bounced up awkwardly. But England are coping well with a pitch that they weren't impressed with when they came here to train. Gogichaishvili, Kinkladze, Jamarali, now Ketsbaia, Jamarali. No rabbit pulled from the hat there. Sheringham trying to get Ferdinand on a run, and Les Ferdinand is away here. 2-0 to England. He drilled it in.
Absolutely marvellous, that is. I'm so chuffed for Les. His left foot really is the old swinger, but that was a great finish. Beautiful football once again. Lovely ball through there from Teddy Sheringham. Les showing all his athleticism there, breaking into the box, and he took it with the confidence. That's what it's all about, just having a go. OK, it's a swinger, but if you hit the target, who knows what's going to happen, and that's in the back of the net. And this has been really turning out into a fantastic first 45 minutes for England.
Well, you just got a shot of crestfallen Alexander Chivadze, the Georgian coach. But there must have been a bit of admiration as he looked as well at a cracking goal from Ferdinand.
Sat up beautifully for Les as well, just on the half volley there, and he rifled it in the near post. This could be sending a few shivers down some Italian spines as well, I thought.
Yes, what have you made of Italy so far, Ray, in the group?
I've always felt they've just done enough, Martin, Italy. Playing well within themselves all the time, expecting to beat the teams that they've beaten. But they do have to come and play us, and they have to play Poland as well, so it's going to be tough for them. Seems a bit of unrest in the camp as well.
And I was told, although this is rumour rather than fact, that Arrigo Sacchi had cancelled his plans to attend this game.
Well, that's interesting.
Italy come to Wembley in February. We will see it live on Sky Sports. And it's the England anthem. Football coming home to one of the game's new homes. Georgia not playing like World Cup novices, but finding that their mistakes are being punished here by a very positive England display, including the goalkeeper.
There we see the goal once again. Les showing some great agility there. Normally he wouldn't have had a go with this. I've seen Les turn out of those situations, Martin, but the sort of form he's in at Newcastle, he felt the utmost confidence in giving that a whack, and that's a very pleasant sight to see.
And fairly modest for celebrations, really.
I think he expected to score, and I think that's a sign of a man in form, Martin.
So in Georgia, it's going very well for England. Batik, who's been prominent in it, shaping out this way. So he's just threading a pass through the eye of a needle then between Sheringham and Gascoigne. And England believe they can nick the ball this far forward.
They're not at all happy, Martin, the Georgians, when we pressed them, and that was led by Paul Gascoigne initially. Look at Teddy Sheringham, he's like, oh dear, you probably couldn't see it on the screen, but Teddy was all on his own in the 18-yard box on that throw-in.
And with the greatest respect to our greatest forward, we haven't had to mention the name of Alan Shearer.
No, we haven't. You know, everyone is sorry that Alan isn't fit to play, but you just have to get on with situations, Martin, and we are very, very fortunate at the moment that we've got a real tasty crop of forward players, and you know, you've got the man in form, Ian Wright, sitting on the bench, so you know, Teddy's really taking his chance.
And I'm sure Alan is as delighted as all of us.
He'll be well chuffed. And here's hoping for a speedy recovery for Alan as well.
Here, here. Batik. So it's Georgia 0, England 2. We come towards the end of the first half. It's panning out very profitably. But Campbell's in a chase here with Ketchbayer. Now Campbell initially kept him at bay, but Georgia still have the ball, and they've got Jamaral. Adams can't get it out. Under more pressure from Avaladze. Now he can.
He's an inspiration, Tony. He's made some wonderful interceptions already this afternoon.
Lovely flick from Ferdinand. Gascoigne not got much support on the left at the moment. He was really forced into going on one of his solo escapades then. The quickness of the breakout, really. There was no chance for Andy Hinchcliffe to get out where Gascoigne might have really been able to use him. Now that we're back defending in numbers only seconds earlier.
Quite right, Martin. It was nice to see Paul leading the charge as well. It's often said you start defending as a team from the front, and I think that's exactly what our lads have done today. They've really worked very, very hard. Les Ferdinand, Teddy Sheringham and Paul playing in just behind them. They're really working their socks off to get that ball back, and it's keeping the side compact, and I think that's what it's all about.
And that's how it must be maintained as well.
It must be maintained. The concentration must be maintained for 90 minutes.
Kinkladze. Ketchbayer, Kinkladze. The double act that could spell danger. Ketchbayer again. And England getting their tackles in and making their challenges within the laws of the game, which is very important on the edge of the area. Talked about England's free kick specialists. Well, Georgia aren't lacking in that respect either. Lovjanidze. mustn't spoil his first half performance by switching off now. Southgate. All Lobjanidze could do was to play it back. Well, with so many home games in the build-up to the European finals with England as the host nation, always at this stage just a bit of a question mark about away performances, simply because some of these players, particularly the younger ones, haven't been in these atmospheres very often. Moldova was pretty quiet, a small crowd, different today, and now England with this 2-goal advantage and a possible threat to it from maybe a Kinkladze free kick. Nemsadze is there as well. Little huddle from the Georgian players about what's the best ploy. But you suspect that Kinkladze has a certain amount of seniority. And remember, if he scores, there's a Mercedes car up on offer from the Georgian sponsors for the first goal scorer in Georgia's World Cup history. And that's Shaley has now come across to have a look as well. And he takes it rather weakly, trying to chip it in to players who come in because England have put players on the post. Adams can't win the header. Georgia half-hearted really, complaining as Ketsbaia went down that they might have had a penalty. Suddenly it just looks a bit more difficult for Glenn Hoddle's team. Kinkladze. On from Nemsadze. Shelia, who took the free kick, now takes a very ambitious shot, and Sol Campbell got plenty in the way of it. This, Ray, was the incident. Adams and Ketsbaia.
Yeah, he did well. I think it was there was a little collision there, but nothing to warrant giving a penalty kick. I think the referee did very well.
And actually, Ketsbaia was trying to cross it, wasn't he?
Yes,
he lost his balance, so
yes,
he wasn't really thinking instinctively that he'd been tripped. Skardadze. Referee looks again at his watch. Kinkladze. Hinchcliffe read it. Gascoigne. More really has to hold it, and played it to Southgate, whose touch wasn't really what England were looking for in that situation. And now Kinkladze attacks them. Gogishaishvili. Well, it's been a spirited end to the first half from Georgia, but England have had by far the better, by far the majority.
I think we can be very proud of our lads, Martin, the way they've set about their task this afternoon. When they first come out, I thought the atmosphere was absolutely incredible, and they've really coped with it admirably, and I'm really looking forward to a second half of pure dominance, really, if we can possibly get it. And that's the end of the first half.
Well, with David Batty playing his part, England certainly have built an excellent platform here with goals from Teddy Sheringham, his shot taking a deflection off Skardadze on the way in. Absolutely no extra help required as Les Ferdinand pumped in the second. So far so good in Tbilisi. Georgia 0, England 2 at half-time. Out of the press box there with the English journalists, with plenty of good news to file in terms of their copy. Georgia already out on the pitch, no sign of any substitution for them. No sign, though, of England wanting to carry on, Ray Wilkins, I'm sure, as the first half panned out for them. More of the same, please.
Oh, I'd like to think so, Martin. Yeah, I think that first half was exceptional, and the lads can be very pleased with it. And let's hope for a little bit more in the second half. Our lads are keeping them waiting slightly, coming out for this second half, but they should have a show pretty quickly.
Yes, the officials there just taking into account England's tardiness. Used to be an old trick played on England by the likes of Brazil to keep you waiting.
It did. It always used to be us out there freezing our socks off, Martin, and we're doing the same to them today.
It is quite a long walk, and the passage is under the main stand here from the dressing room out onto the pitch. But I don't think that excuses England not quite being ready for action.
Perhaps the buzzer didn't work in the dressing room, Martin.
Well, the defending didn't work here for Georgia. Sheringham able to get beyond Shalia's attempts to intercept.
Yes, I think we said, Martin, in the first half, if we can get at them, they do look slightly vulnerable, and on 2 or 3 occasions we've actually been in on goal, and Leslie's was a 1-against-1 as well, as Teddy's was there, so consequently the covering of their defenders wasn't too clever, but it was a good finish, and it was a finish that we were delighted to see.
Well, it's not exactly the realms of an Estonian situation here, but it's an unnecessary delay, and it gives me a chance as Tony Adams finally comes into view. At the gallop now.
I'm sure there's a good reason for it, Martin.
The England available substitutes: Gary Neville, Ian Walker, Stuart Pearce, David Platt, Steve McManaman, Matt Le Tissier, Ian Wright. And those who've travelled not lucky enough to get a shirt in the end: Nick Barmby for one, Robbie Fowler another, and the third goalkeeper, David James.
I think we're fair to say, Martin, as well, England have got a very good support here today in Tbilisi. There's a lot of lads have travelled out on aeroplanes this morning. We've got a good contingent of the Navy that are just down the road, 300 miles, and they've made the trip to see the lads play, and have all have behaved in impeccable fashion, so that's another plus sign for us.
Well, we'll just have to see whether the referee decides to file this in his official report to FIFA. If he's seen it as an infringement by the England team, well, there might be some money leaving Lancaster Gate for those Swiss banks in Zurich.
We were on the plane with the gentleman, the referee, yesterday, coming into Tbilisi, and it seemed a very pleasant chap, speaks very good English.
Well, the language of football is being spoken very well by the team here at the halfway stage of the third test for Glenn Hoddle in the qualifying group. Hoping, and now at this stage expecting, that the 100% record will stay intact, but I'm sure the players have been reminded at half-time of the dangers of complacency and the Latin nature of the Georgian temperament suggests that if they did get something from the game, if they were to get a goal, well, then the whole tempo of their play would change, their confidence would suddenly re-emerge.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're very much in their shell.
That's very true, Martin. And if you give these type of players, as you say, with the Latin temperament, any sort of encouragement whatsoever, they can be a real big threat. So it's up to us to silence the crowd once again, as it seemed very quiet at the start of the second half. We'll continue about our business as we did in the first half.
Yes, having won the first half to win the second. Skardadze. Here's Ferdinand. Back comes Kobiashvili. Glenn Hoddle was saying yesterday that a draw would not be a disaster. He wasn't really preempting that situation, but it was a direct reply to a direct question. But what he really wanted was for England to confront Italy at Wembley in February, 3 points clear at the top of the group.
Yes, quite right as well, Martin. I think...
So Kobiashvili stretching Andy Hinchcliffe. Camarali unattended on the edge of the area. He could have taken it on himself, Kinkladze, and interposing his big frame there effectively was Sol Campbell of Spurs.
Yeah,
Make sure Seaman could get to the ball.
Sorry, Martin, I think Joe mentioned it at half-time about Sol Campbell's performance. He's had an extremely mature opening game or opening half for England. A very good performance indeed. And once again, we saw there he is a monster of a man, and that was very good defending from him.
Yes, he's one of those who've come through that European Under-18 championship winning side in '93 with others who already represented the full international team, like Gary Neville and Robbie Fowler.
I had the pleasure of being with him in Toulon a couple of seasons ago, Martin, and his performance and his attitude to work and to play was quite exceptional.
Kinkladze Ketsbaia to his right. Still Ketsbaia scrambling in across. There is Campbell living up to the praise with a calm piece of defending. He is a very laid-back young man. That's a lot to shake him out.
Suddenly, there's no one wanting to challenge England on the ball in midfield. Partly because there's been a lot of effort expended by Georgia in mounting that last attack. Ferdinand can take an extra touch or two, but it's behind Gascoigne. He wasn't best happy with the ball played towards him. Jamorali. Gogichaishvili galloping down the right. Ketsbaia. Campbell's there again. Out by Ince. Sheringham. Well read by Shalia. Adams header down, well aware of where the support was.
Georgia did play in the qualifiers for Euro '96. They won 5 and lost 5, which again tells you about the potential for highs and lows in their football. They beat Bulgaria here, the last international they played on this ground, which was certainly a feather in the cap. But they did lose home and away to Moldova. Beckham made it his. Ferdinand back for Gascoigne. Low cross. And Sheringham trying to make something of it from Andy Hinchcliffe. A little critical of Georgia playing a bit too much football on the edge of their own penalty area, but they've got it up to Kinkladze now. And Kobiashvili, all he could do was go in to try and win it back. The ball from right to left was way off the mark for Georgia, happily for England.
Yes, thankfully for England as well, Martin, but we've started a little bit slack in the second half of the opening couple of minutes. Our tempo in the first half was exceptional. Our passing was neat and crisp, but we just seem to be dallying on the ball slightly at the moment. We've got to whip that tempo up just slightly, and I think we'll be okay.
Goals after 15 and 37 minutes of the first half from Sheringham and Ferdinand. Well, there's going to be a change for Georgia. Off comes Arveladze. He's only just back after injury. He didn't play in Italy. And he's replaced by a forward who did start that game, Gogrishiani. It's free kick given against Paul Ince's challenge. Here's the new arrival, Gogrishiani. Kinkladze. Now Jamalari. No joy for Ketsbaia. Gave Batty a bit of a nudge then, and someone else might pay for that, but David Batty sensibly, professionally, concentrating on getting the ball. He got a sight of it, and no hot-headedness because of the earlier challenge. It's over Adams, and he needed to stretch against Gogriciani. There wasn't quite enough depth to England's defending then. Vince, Gascoigne takes over. Now Batty. Beckham. Feel a bit sorry for poor Gascoigne at the moment. They're not giving him the ball when he's taking up reasonable positions to get it. When it is breaking down, it's usually the ball played awry, and Gascoigne is the target. A player who will feel inwardly he's a very resilient character, and he has never needed his resilience more than perhaps today. But he will want to show what he's made of and make sure his name is in the papers for the right reasons. Adams, in that respect, has been a very good example. He's been talking about being a better player and indeed a better person since England last saw him. You don't need to go into the details of that.
No, of course, he certainly set about in the right fashion as well, Martin. He really is a bit of a stalwart now, this English side, and had a superb first half.
Batty. Gascoigne. Ferdinand with Shalia at his back. Gascoigne can be so threatening coming in. The penalty area with the ball at his feet. In fact, it's fair to say that he's judged with his success rate in that type of area of the pitch. And this throw, is it? He was prepared to take it and get on with it with no evidence to the contrary, but it has gone the other way.
I thought it was his ball, actually, Martin. I thought he had done well there. But that was good defending from Les Ferdinand. Paul burst into the box. Les, obviously noticing that it had gone beyond him, decided to drop in the hole for him. So it just goes to show how they're working so hard for each other.
And now Gascoigne inviting Ferdinand to run. Lobjanidze is in quite a predicament then against the player of Ferdinand's pace, but he hurt well. And here's Nemsadze. From the England perspective, the jeers rather than cheers that are coming from the Georgian fans, and music to the ears.
Well, the way they're playing, Martin, you'd think they were the team that were two up, very laborious in their build-up play. And even when out of possession, they're not really working that hard to get the ball back.
The play, and this time it surely is an England throw.
In fact, the game's gone rather dead, Martin, hasn't it? Which can only be beneficial from us, really. You know, we obviously want to see England win, and if it stays like this, then England will win.
Batty. Gascoigne will get to it. Chamarali trying to bite back at him. Gascoigne holds him off and bounced off Ferdinand, who was just a little ahead of where the pass arrived.
But that's what it's all about, Martin, that Les Ferdinand chasing back and winning it back. Now, there's been times Les has been criticised for not doing that, but that's working very hard for the outfit.
Sheringham trying to do the same. Now Chamarali. And Sadze's taken up a position through the centre, kept Spire coming a bit deeper. Plenty of passes through midfield from Georgia. A bit of interference on Georgia in midfield, and I gather you're getting some interference on our sound circuit as well. We apologise for that, but I'm sure you're enjoying the pictures.
I think we can safely say that that was a free kick, Martin. Paul scissor kicking at Kinkladze there.
Hinchcliffe, Southgate. Now Adams. Well, certainly the creative players in the England team won't naturally want to settle into a holding operation, but what England can do is ration the time when they go forward. Keep working, keep forcing Georgia to play under challenge, even in their own half. Kinkladze. There's Batty again in the right place. Undoubtedly owing his selection in some part to England's poor defending in midfield against the Poles last month. Southgate. Batty on the ball once more. Sheringham coming deeper to get a feel of the ball again. Gascoigne likewise. And confident enough to send Sol Campbell, or he's confident enough to push down the right. Leaving just Adams rather solitary at the back. Need to get their shape sorted out. They should have the opportunity to do this as Fabriciani is forced wide.
Clever play from him. And I think Sol Campbell probably won't be encouraged to make that move to the right-hand side again.
No, that's right. It's vitally important that we do stay as a solid unit at the back, but we must give a little bit of a compliment there to Andy Hinchcliffe, who tracked, I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name, the number 6, back fully 75 yards and won that ball back. Excellent defending. I think the main difference from the first half to the start of the second half is we never gave the ball away in silly areas in the first half, and we have actually started to give the ball away on a couple of silly occasions.
Kinkladze. There's Batty again. Well, he's continuing to set the right kind of example. There's an advantage played by the referee. Batty was hurt. England putting the passes together in a promising way. Although some of the momentum has gone out of it now. Batty's back on his feet, incidentally. And England lead still by 2-0. Ferdinand. Now Ince. Sheringham, and just too long and too strong for David Beckham.
That was a great shame, Martin. That was good football we had on the left-hand side of the field. Worked out very nicely into Teddy, into the middle of the centre circle, and he's passed to David Beckham. Just got a little skid before as it hit the floor. Otherwise, I think if it would have held up, I think David was in.
Campbell's header, full of authority. This is Nemsadze. Jamorauli. Kinkladze. Some roars of hope around the stadium in Tbilisi. Kobišashvili. Well, it was a ball that needed defending, and Tony Adams did well enough. Georgia were a bit standing in admiration on the edge of the penalty area to the work of Kobišashvili. Jamorauli. Ince doing the defensive screening, and via Batty and Gascoigne. Good hold-up play from Sheringham. Gascoigne taking over. Ferdinand, in fact, is a long way off the pace. Now he's getting forward as England keep the ball and keep this 2-goal platform in solid shape. Ben Hoddle's often made the point the difference between tournament play and qualifying play. And when you're qualifying, it's all about the result. And think about embroidering the performance for one-off matches when you get to the finals of major tournaments, as England certainly did in Euro 96, and will hope to be doing in France in the World Cup in 98. And then Sadze.
Yeah, he was trying to pick out Ketsbaia there with a little dinky ball over the top. But once again, in the middle of the field, we gave the ball away too cheaply. And we had good possession of the ball, no one putting any pressure on us whatsoever. And we gave the ball away. And that, from my point of view, in the second half, has been our main failing. It's difficult for the lads because the Georgians as a unit aren't really putting them under too much pressure. And we've got a lot of time on the ball. And occasionally the sloppy pass will creep in. But that's when the really good sides kill off opposition. And hopefully one day this England side will become a very, very good team. It's showing today that it has the promise to be one of the top-class sides.
But in your mind, still in the formative stage?
I think in the formative side, I think the only thing that Glenn can be looking for, first and foremost, is the 3 points, Martin, and then the improvement in performance game after game. And I definitely think today we've had a marked improvement on our performance against Poland, and we're playing in a very, very tough environment.
And you do sense that the good folk of Tbilisi are beginning to give up a bit on their team.
Well, you can understand their frustration, Martin. You was telling me at half-time that the average age is wage is £150 a year, and it's cost £6 a ticket to get in today. You know, that's an astronomical amount of money, and you can understand people getting a little bit frustrated.
Well, it shows how much they care for the game of football. What a wonderful institution the World Cup is.
Yes, it is a fine tournament.
Population of Georgia around 5 million, but only 3.5 million actual Georgians. It's a real cosmopolitan place. Beckham, you can hit them better than that.
You'll be disappointed with that, David. That's dropped lovely on the volley for him, and he just couldn't get hold of it properly.
Adams with a header. Jamorali. Ferdinand. England have been pretty conservative in the second half, and there have been a few too many moments like that when the control exerted in the first 45 minutes not so apparent at this stage of the game.
I think the control of the game is still there, Martin. It's just that our lads will be a little bit disappointed with the control of the ball that they've got at the moment. I sometimes feel as well we lose sight of some of our true values as well. We've got good headers of the ball in Teddy and Les, and we get in good positions sometimes wide in the final third, and occasionally just to throw the ball in and give ourselves a chance on a cross. That's one of our values that we're exceptionally good at, and I think sometimes we lose sight of it occasionally.
There's Ferdinand in the wideish position, back to Gascoigne, now Batty. Adams letting it run, but prepared to run on himself ahead of Sheringham. Hinchcliffe, everyone getting a touch and keeping it going. Now it goes towards Ferdinand, who couldn't go for goal directly there. He's trying to pull it down. Beckham wins it back unfairly against Kobiashvili, a foot up. And it's a free kick against England.
Yeah, we see the incident there. Unfortunately, in European football, once the foot is raised, like so, it's always a free kick. But I think that was an extremely harsh decision, I've got to say. I think David did very well.
Second change for Georgia. Kobiashvili is coming off. The Ray Wilkins release.
Yes, thank you very much, Ralph.
Gudu Shauri.
My word, I don't know what I'd sooner have.
What Georgia were looking for in this game were Times when they could really control the midfield area where their strengths lie. They don't have the sharpest attackers right at the front end of their team, but they've got good depth, good quality in that midfield area, recognised by Glenn Hoddle and his coaching staff in the planning for this game.
Yeah, I think full credit must go out to Glenn and the guys for the selection of the side. David Batty has been quite a revelation on his return to the England side. He's had a wonderful game this afternoon. And we have looked so solid, Martin. They don't look as if they're going to go through us like a knife through butter. We do look a very solid outfit, and the amount of times that we've actually robbed them on the edge of our box, and we're through them and at them with our pace in Les and our quality in Teddy Sheringham and Paul Gascoigne.
David Beckham is the player in trouble. That collision with Koviashvili gives me a chance, as Alan Smith assesses David Beckham's condition. Just a worry there about double vision, perhaps. But coming up for you, Judgment Night tonight. Tyson and Holyfield, one of the 3 world heavyweight title fights on Sky Box Office. And I'm sure you know the number by now for details on the special pay-per-view event. It's 0990 800 888. Happily, Beckham is quickly back on. No confusion then with the 4th official as to whether he was actually tugged him back across the touchline in case he went to play the ball. Legitimately back into play now. It's been a good trip for England. The facilities at the hotel have been excellent. The only problem, a Scottish bagpiper whose music has not been well received by the English camp. Someone said it was revenge for Euro 96 that he happened to be out here. It's all part of the British week that I mentioned earlier, in fact. Jamarawi. And a little nick from behind by David Beckham. That could mean a yellow card. It is. First caution for an England player here in Tbilisi. Beckham's first of the tournament, but of course, should he get another one in a subsequent game, that would lead to a 1-match suspension. Of course, if he gets another one today, he'd be off.
Yeah, we see the incident here, Martin. It's a definite foul from David, and it's a bit unfortunate he should pick up a booking. But it was a poor tackle.
Jamarawi trying to get closer. Gascoigne trying to make sure the referee realised he wasn't deliberately impeding him. Portuguese official was right on the spot.
He's had a first-class game, Martin, hasn't he? Not been intimidated at all by the crowd, and some of the decisions like that one there, as we've just seen, lots of referees would have given that.
Well, for World Cup game number 100 for England, it's going appropriately. Beckham booking. I hesitate to mention an England player getting sent off with Ray Wilkins alongside me.
Please don't. Bad memories.
Has a look down.
He does have a look down. I don't think it was a bobble on the pitch, unfortunately. It's getting a bit colder here now. I think a bit of dews obviously laying on the surface and got a bit of a skid.
The floodlights are on for the closing stages. The weather has held for the entire England trip here. Not just good weather, we've been told, the best that Georgia can offer for this time of year. Oh, and the kick by Zoidze. Gascoigne with another chance. Batty hit it well.
That was
Keeper
good.
made up for his error with the kick with some decent positioning.
That was good play from Paul Gascoigne, just waiting for David Batty to come on view. Unfortunately for David, he's hit it too well. It's gone straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, but had he mishit that slightly, who knows where that might have gone. But I don't think David's going to miss hit anything this afternoon. His passing's been impeccable. I think he's had a super match.
Where you have to nominate a man of the match in the next few minutes, so you might turn your thoughts to that.
Can't you have 11?
I'm sure they'll all get a sip of whoever's champagne it is. And you can have 11 if you want.
Have you got the champagne over there?
Well, in some ways, the second half hasn't had the attraction of the first. England looking so dangerous, taking their chances, and really putting their stamp on the match from really the moment Sheringham struck onwards. But it's been professionally carried through by Glenn Hoddle's players, as Ray Wilkins has been stressing. Possibly a little lack of concentration may have affected the actual mastery of the ball and making the moves as sweet as they were in the first half. But there's been no great danger for David Seaman's goal.
I think that's the important thing, Martin, when you come away from home. Just look at the amount of chances they've had, and in the second half I can't remember them having a shot. You know, there's the lads again, all grouping, they're working as a group, they're pressing, but unfortunately Les has given that sloppy pass again. You know, they're working so hard to get it back, and at international football, or at world level, you've got to keep the thing.
Kinkladze suddenly makes the pitch look flatter than it really is with his mastery of the football. Gascoigne nudging it off to Batty. Beckham is there. Now Gascoigne. Not much above walking pace at the moment.
We're in real command, Martin. I think that's the important thing. I've not seen an England side command a game like this for quite a time, and we are just playing at the pace that we need to play at.
Gascoigne. Give the Georgians a taste of their own medicine in midfield. Sheringham feinting to shoot and then flipping it up towards Ferdinand. Hinchcliffe. One of the pleasant interludes in waiting for the game to come over the past couple of days was an excellent press conference given by Andy Hinchcliffe, who paints himself as a shy guy, but entertained us all for half an hour or so. One of his rare media interviews. Maybe Joe Royle will be surprised that he's done all that.
I think Andy can be very pleased with his performance as well, Martin. I think that's the thing with Andy. Today has been a better performance than he had last time, and for a fella come in and only making his third, or playing his third game, that's what it's all about, improving on every performance, and it does take a while for guys to settle international football.
Well, Batty. Well, Ray, shades of 10 years ago when you were captaining England on this ground against the Soviet Union, then there was no great love for that team from the local population here. That was politics. But the England of that day certainly quietened the crowd, and the England of today have done the same.
That's what it's all about. That's what all the top-class performances that all our club sides have put in Europe. It's silencing the crowd initially, and then our football will come through, and the lads have done us proud today. You know, if we were playing like this at Wembley, Martin, our supporters would be ecstatic, I would have thought, especially on our first half performance. And that's what it's all about. We are in complete control of the game, and if you can do that at World Cup level, then you've got half a chance.
Gascoigne. Only just offside.
He was. That was a great little bendy run from Teddy Sheringham there.
Well, we'd certainly like your contribution at home to your thoughts on the man of the match. 0891 111101 as ever. Give us a call now.
Do you have one, Martin?
Do I have a man of the match? Yes, I do. I'm not sure whether my producer would allow me to reveal it, because it might prejudice the vote at home.
Yeah.
But my vote would go for England's number 11. But it's not over yet, and this is Shalia. Jamarauli comes off Adams. Now Gascoigne. As he looks up, there's not too much on, and he was happy to be tugged. Get the free kick. It was a foul, but England had kept plenty of players in their own half, and we can almost start our thoughts turning to February in Italy, Ray.
Yes, we can, and once again, if we get the improvement that we're hoping for, then if it's an improvement on this game, then we'll be very happy. But that is a big game for us, Martin. The Italians are very strong. Although there's a bit of upheaval at the moment, they are a very strong outfit, and that will be a true test for us.
Would you expect them to come to Wembley without Arrigo Sacchi as their coach?
I hope not, because I like Arrigo Sacchi. I think he's a good man, and I think what he's done for he did for AC Milan, and also what he's done for Italian football has been first class. And I don't like seeing people put out to grass too soon.
Talking about Dino Zoff as a favourite to take over, but let's concentrate on the present here in Georgia. Nemsadze. Ketspire dealing with the bounce. Well, Tony Adams has come back as though he's never been away, and just the occasional moment when he's had to scamper. And one of his Arsenal colleagues may well be returning to the international arena with a brief appearance as a substitute. Ian Wright, reward for the goals he scored, the leading scorer at the moment in the Premiership, and his almost boyish enthusiasm at the age of 33. Certainly, in his company, the youngest 33-year-old you'd ever want to spend time with is a great lad to have on the trip. Everyone's pleased to see him back. He's very shortly coming into the game.
He's a very infectious character, Martin, and when he's on fire, there's no one better than Ian Wright. Very, very exciting. Great goal scorer, and he's just the type of guy that I think supporters like to see. And it's lovely to see him back as well. It's nice that Glenn has recognised his performances at the age of 33.
Gascoigne. Ball's got to go out of play for Wright to get on, or the game's got to be stopped. It's Les Ferdinand who's not going to finish it, but he's played his part, pumping second goal.
I think he's had an immense contribution today, Martin. His forward play up front, obviously the viewers can't see everything that goes on a television screen. We can see the whole thing. His work off the ball has been exceptional. He's defended exceptionally well. And of course he scored that wonderful second goal, which basically is going to seal our victory.
And all credit to the Georgian supporters. They're seeing their team lose here, but they're applauding Les Ferdinand off. And Ian Wright comes back for England, his last cap more than 2 years ago. And he'll be hoping that there's plenty of stoppage time added on. Use the remaining time for England's good. Beckham. And he must have been the player offside, if there was such a player. Certainly the flag went up. Shalia.
That's come about because we have played in such a compact fashion. There's been no gaps for them to play those little passes into, and we're making them play the ball long, and they haven't got the runners going beyond our defenders. Therefore, they're just giving the ball away every time, and that's full credit to our lads.
Well, around 8 minutes to go, and Georgia, who came into this game with great hopes, they believed that their own feeling for their own country. So proud to be an independent state now. They would trigger off something that might make England leave Tbilisi with their tail between their legs. But really, from the moment that Teddy Sheringham got the opening goal, it's been England's game. It's been a test of patience and concentration in the second half. It's Gascoigne. And I suppose England fans will want to be greedy now and just see the team rounded all off with another goal. Sheringham. Hinchcliffe, quick to retrieve it. Right, and one of those sharp turns of his. Shuari. 7 is Nemsadze. Kinkladze. And again, Ketsbaia. Could be a difficult conclusion to the game if England were to surrender a goal here. Cross too long.
Once again, their final ball marking has been extremely poor, hasn't it? They're not even getting a chance to put David Seaman under any sort of pressure. That ball just sailing out of play for a goal kick.
Southgate. Well, there was a lot of secrecy about the eventual England lineup. Kept very much under wraps by Glenn Hoddle. The journalists on the trip were having sweepstakes yesterday as to who would come closest to it. No inside track for anybody. But the team that was finally unveiled has done Glenn Hoddle proud. And Sadze, but Batty is there again, although he got caught the wrong side for a moment. And Sadze dallied, and that's been a problem for Georgia throughout. Sheringham, off goes right, but there's a lead established in that race by Skardadze. Ketsbaia, who was very conspicuous in the closing 20 minutes in Perugia against Italy. But they just haven't been able to get the ball to him in the right parts of the pitch. And he hasn't been seen, happily for England, at his best.
I think Tony and the lads have kept him very quiet, Martin. Their defending has been superb. You've very seldom seen any of our defenders go to the ground, and therefore it makes it very difficult for forwards to actually go past people. And our defending has been first class. I think every department of our team has functioned properly, and that can only add to a fine performance.
Nemsadze, chased by Batty again. Kinkladze has to play it back. Gascoigne, who has been replaced in the latter stages of games before. He's still very much with us. Good stretch by Adams. Calmly away by Campbell again. It's a word that comes very easily to mind, calmness, when Sol Campbell's about.
He's taken his chance, Martin, hasn't he? It's been a very accomplished performance by him.
A private game between Gascoigne and Sheringham, and then Gascoigne and Beckham. And again, these football-loving Georgian fans, if they're not going to see their team do well, ready to applaud anything that catches their eye from England.
The lads just showing their confidence there. There was some lovely inter-passing on the volley. Perhaps they should have played on the volley on this pitch.
I can offer some other encouraging words to English fans, that the Georgians tell me the team they really want to beat in this group is Italy. There's some sort of historical rivalry there. And, well, good luck.
Yeah, it'd be very pleasant, Martin, wouldn't it? Yeah, exactly.
This is Fabriciani. Kobiashvili took it from him, and the teenager being applauded by the more senior player, or at least getting there, even though if in the end there was a bit of confusion between the two.
Yeah, we see the ball coming over there, catch by it was actually a poor first touch for himself, and he had to leave it basically and put a very weak finish.
Header from Kinkladze, Nemsadze. England just lost their shape a little bit through Gavrisciani drawing Campbell across in that attack, but it's been a rare glitch.
I think you can honestly say you're entitled to see the home side have one shot in a half, Martin, and that was it, and it was a pretty poor effort, and they're total confusion now. He's just thrown the ball back to David Seaman.
Can't see anybody injured, can you? I think it was just a...
Gareth Southgate, unfortunately, he's having a little bit of a limp.
Yes.
I think he was just hit off balance as he cleared that ball out on the far side.
But it wasn't a case of a sporting touch, it was just a breakdown in communications with the throw, and, well, they really have had their wires crossed, Georgia, today, because of the way England have set out to stifle them. And the bonus from that policy was a goal after 15 minutes.
You know, there's going to be a lot of people who say this Georgian side was a poor side, it was this, it was that. I'm not too concerned about the Georgians being a poor side. I'm more concerned about our lads improving as a team unit and doing well and winning games. And today I've seen an improvement in our team.
Kinkladze. Oh, it's a brilliant run. And the referee refusing to be intimidated.
Once again, first-class refereeing, Martin. It's never a penalty. Wonderful football from Kinkladze.
Away comes Gascoigne. And Wright, the chance for him, and the chance is rather typical of his international career before this two-year gap. The chances that he tucks away with such ease for Arsenal. He's never quite had that facility at the higher level. And he crosses now towards Sheringham, who's in. Oh,
David Beckham was just a fraction away, wasn't he? Great play again from Teddy Sheringham. Good ball from Ian Wright. Teddy pulls across to the far post. I think we're seeing the penalty incident there. I think it was 6-1 and half a dozen, and the referee made a good decision.
Well, I think also Kinkladze felt something at his back and then did that little twister in the air, which always gives the impression that you are trying to deceive the referee.
Yes, that's right.
And after that, Ian Wright was through, goalkeeper blocked, and then Wright across for Sheringham, and Beckham on the stretch couldn't keep it down. Kinkladze. I think England looking just a little bit weary now. And the travelling and the time difference may play a part on that. The sort of play that Georgia have been trying to muster the whole game, they've just found in little flurries towards the end of each half.
It's amazing, Martin, isn't it? And it's that man Kinkladze as well. You know, we've seen him do it so many times for Manchester City. He really is a little wizard with the football. Great dribbler. But it's always a comfort to know that you've got Big Dave behind you. You know, if you do have a little bit of a lapse, you've got Big Dave Seaman there. We're in safe hands.
There is the feeling that Georgia will blow hot and cold in this group, and that they will have better days than this.
Yes, I think you can safely say that, Martin, looking at them.
But England have come away, and this 5-hour time difference has taken its toll really on everyone's sleep pattern. Some of the England players have actually slept on English time and not messed around with their body clocks. Others have found it easier to wake up at the right times, Tbilisi time. But I can't recall England playing a World Cup qualifier where the time change has been so drastic. Gets by it. There's Campbell pressing in again. He has to chase back.
I think David Batty just reminded Kinkladze that he plays in English football.
It is a foul by Adams and Tobiashvili. Well, if it's desperation or what, or English tiredness or what, suddenly Georgia have found something extra. But it's come too late, and England marked their 100th World Cup match with an impressive win. The travelling, the time difference, and the Georgian support in Tbilisi all overcome with first-half goals from Teddy Sheringham and from Les Ferdinand. So it is 3 out of 3 for Glenn Hoddle and his players. Great figures those, with the February clash with Italy at Wembley to come. Georgia, as we've been saying, you do feel have enough potential to make it awkward for some other nations in the group. So make no mistake about it, despite a reasonably quiet second half, this is an excellent result for England, achieved, of course, without Alan Shearer as well. It has been an undefeated international year, except for that penalty shootout against Germany. And the European Championship semi-finalists can look forward to 1997 with high hopes of World Cup qualification. Georgia 0, England 2.
Great. Long second.